Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to round 6 of the JAF Championship. And this time we're in Singapore. And we are out for first Q1 lap. Now, I accidentally put 10 kilograms of fuel instead of the minimum 5. But, you know, it is what it is. And the 16 drivers this time, so not really too much at risk of going out of Q1. I took a really wide turn 3 there. Yeah, I mean, Singapore is a very fun track to drive. But the thing is, a lot of traction zones, and obviously, you know, that's not really my strong suit. But the rest of the tracks were, the rest of the lap was actually pretty decent. You know, going down almost to the Henderson Bridge section. Let's go down the Padang Straight. Yeah, and so for this is actually a home race for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm sure all of them want to do well, and you know, same for me. But yeah, at this point, I am still in ran really wide there, the heartbreaking zone. But yeah, at this point I'm in quite a tight battle for P3 between Tekla. So of course, you know, having a good qualifying, especially in a street race like Singapore, it's a little bit harder to overtake. You know, qualifying is really important. Pull out a 129.999. Just cracked the 29s by 1,000ths of a second. And as far as I know, I didn't have to go out anymore after that. And we just ended there at P3. Yep, as we go out on Q2, now with the proper minimum fuel that we can put in. This is our used tire run, so obviously it'll be a little bit slower, but considering the amount of mistakes we made in the first lap in Q1, we actually do a 129.7 even with used tires, where the tire wear is quite high. And yeah, I think the rest of the people crashed and didn't really have the pace to keep up, so we just managed to save another set of soft tires for ourselves. But the race later on is actually gonna rain, so I'm not really sure why I decided to save my tires. I think here I chose to put on new tires and just go for it because I realized it was gonna rain for a bit of the race. As we start off our Q3 lap, this is gonna be our first Q3 lap. Plan to do another one once it reaches near the end of the lap. Let's get a pretty good turn into turn 3. Pretty good rotation. And down the first straight. Go down the power. So we go down the main straight. Try and get the minimum distance between the track. It's done turn 7, but yeah, just we. I think I put a little bit more power into the a little bit more throttle than, like, very slightly more, and yeah, I really like put my hand on my face. I was like, I never crashed during qualifying, and this happens. Even especially in a race where it's so important for me to qualify high enough to try and fight Tekro. Right, but yeah, that causes us to retire from Q3, and will consequently be starting off at the back, which is P10, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll have a lot of work to do. As you can see here, I definitely could have reached probably at least P4 right behind Tekro, but you know, unfortunately we just had to crash there. And yeah, you can see the rain is gonna last for the first half of the entire race, and we're actually starting off with wet tires. Yeah, you can see how treacherous the conditions are. Like, the track is completely full of puddles, and the rain is really just pouring down like crazy. So as I reach to finish up our formation lap, starting off in P10, having pretty warm tires in these cold conditions is quite important. So I'm really trying my best to keep the temperatures up. The internal temperatures are quite easy to bring up using brake dragging, which I did throughout the lap, but of course the outside, the surface of the tires are a little bit more difficult without having to wear out your tires. So I didn't really want to risk that. As we park well, and now as the 5 red lights come on, we're about to start the Singapore Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go. We're trying to take this really carefully. We're starting on 3rd gear because there's no traction at all. Trying to brake a little bit behind, trying to make sure I'm not in the middle of the pack. As you can see, 2 people crashed out there. And I think Skipper as well from P1 or P2 crashed on the 2nd turn, which allows us to promote right up to P8 just by staying clean, which is going to be quite a theme in this race, because initially during the formation lap we're trying to see how much grip we can have, because it's a pretty good time to check. I was trying to see how much throttle I can actually put in, how much I can actually put the limit, as Maple Leaf in the Red Bull actually spins out, and I thought I was going to get illegal overtake, but luckily not. Yep. As the VSC ends now, and honestly, the way I've been driving through the VSC has been quite similar to how I'm going to drive through the race at this part. Really carefully. I really don't want to crash or get any damage, to my wing. Like, for now I really just need to keep it clean and try and catch up to the front pack. As X-Knight there goes really wide, try to make advantage of it, but another safety car goes out. Yeah, these conditions are horrible, and just a small mistake at all, if you're fighting with someone, is just almost inevitable you're gonna crash. It's honestly almost as bad as it was back in Texas, the last video and last race. And now in lap 4, the safety car comes in. Try to get a pretty good restart, but as you can see, I can't put the throttle down at all during the restart. But we managed to catch up quite a bit. Neum goes quite wide through turn 2, as X-Knight goes off to Narnia, and we managed to make up the position up to P6 now. Trying to put the throttle down, but not getting enough traction, but we hit Neum in the back. It's a miracle that we didn't get any wing damage from that, because that would have just ended our race right there. And yeah, the thing about Neum is that he's a pretty decent driver. It's just that he brakes too early sometimes, and it really catches me off guard. And actually throughout the race, multiple races, I've actually hit him in the back quite a few times because of his early braking, which honestly messes me up quite a bit. But yeah, as you can see, he gets a huge snap boost. He managed to save it, luckily, because if he did spin, he probably would have hit me and caused me some damage there. As I take the Henderson Bridge corner, the hairpin really slowly. As you can see, X-Knight tried to get on my left side as I struggled to get traction into the back straight here. As we go on to the right-hander down into one of the last sectors down towards the Singapore Flyer. So we actually have pretty decent pace, but I'm quite wary of how Neum is driving, because I don't want him to accidentally do a mistake which causes me to mess up as well. Takes quite a weird line through the last corner there. I tried to take an alternative line to try and do a switchback on him, but he keeps the main line and goes really slowly, which makes it impossible for me to find any space to do a switchback there. But yeah, again, he brakes early again, which causes me to lose my right front wing. And yeah, I think I was pretty pissed off at this point, so I just decided to burn my battery and overtake him because because of that damage, it was gonna cost me quite a bit. And we're now up to P5 as we try to catch up to the front pack, and we're actually making up quite a lot of time even with the wing damage, because we set up I've changed the setup quite a bit to the wets to fit the wets, so I actually have quite a bit of downforce even with the wing damage. And luckily there are no technically high speed corners in this race, in this track, so losing that front wing won't lose me too much time. Of course, still not ideal, but throughout just that one sector we managed to catch up to the Williams in front of us by almost more than a second. Now we're almost at, if there was DRS, we're almost in DRS range, and kind of showed the pace we have in the wets. And the safety car does come out near the end of lap 6. I was planning on pitting to change my front wing, but I felt that I saw that the rain was actually clearing up quite a bit, so maybe it would have been almost time for the intermediate. So I wanted to just pit during then to make sure that, you know, I don't lose any additional time.
Okay, it's borderline, mate, but if I were you, I'd come in and change tyres. I'm just not sure we're on the right ones for these conditions anymore.
Yeah, so that obviously was my cue. That was my cue to come in for the intermediates. And then we come to the pit entry lane. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I would you heartbreak twice. Like, yeah. If I didn't get wing damage before, I probably would have gotten it then. But now we change our front wing and come in for the intermediates. But surprisingly enough, some people chose not to pit, which honestly was a little bit of an interesting choice. They're gonna lose a lot of positions for not pitting when the safety car is out, like earlier. So one of them was actually Von Haley, my teammate, but I think he waited to make sure he didn't double stack with me. Yeah, so there's actually one car in front that's actually on the wets, so in P6, but then my teammate starts to he lagged out, and for some reason I think the ghosted car tried to unlap itself, but then when he came back was right when the safety car ended, and now he's up to P5, which honestly was really weird, but it's okay. We start going racing at lap 11 as the three cars in front of me go really wide. I overtake my teammate through the inside, but wide though goes quite wide through turn 3. So I take advantage of that, and I'm fully in front of him as I start to go into the first DRS straight, but yeah, he dives down the inside trying to make a move, which I don't know what he's trying to do there. And it allows Noon to overtake through that whole incident. But yeah, just misses his braking point completely. It just almost crashes into the wall, I think. And yeah, in front of me is Quiladro, who is on the wet, which I think he expected it to dry up a little bit faster, or he wanted to try and stay on the wets as long as possible to keep track position, but obviously, you know, it's not really gonna work well. You know, it's getting a little bit too dry for it's not as wet enough for the wet tires, but I lock on my rear there for a second and almost bin it into the Henderson hairpin. Yeah, and you can see just how much more traction we have compared to Quilladro with the wet tires as I'm on the intermediates. And
Okay, the safety car is out.
another safety car
We need to form
comes
up and
out.
reduce pace.
And doing
Keep a
this
close eye on
race,
that
it's
delta
just,
time.
I
Make
think it's
sure to
our
keep it
third
positive.
safety car of the race. It's quite crazy here. As yep, I didn't see the delta and I almost get a drive-through penalty, which would have been horrible for my race. As Pandadan actually also stayed out on the wets, which same thing. I think he tried to keep
Okay,
track
looks
position.
Like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still definitely on the right tyre for the time being, but we're probably not a million miles away from slick conditions.
Yeah, so rain is definitely clearing up. There's a little bit of a dry line that's forming on the track as well, which shows that it's gonna be slicks eventually. But for now, the safety car comes in as both Tycho and Wayne get a pretty bad exit towards the last turn, and we try and take advantage of that, diving down the outside of Wayne. Locks up a little, he hits us in the wing, luckily no damage, but it does push us out of the track, and we do get one track limit warning from that. And you can see my teammate Von Haley is actually in P4. I think he got an insane restart, and I'm just gonna show you the broadcast. He does the most insane defensive moves to keep everyone behind as much as possible to create a gap for me, and I'm so thankful for him. Just take a look.
It's making Skipper's life really difficult indeed. Criado stays in 10th place as it stands, but now the gap's really starting to form there. Taco Master, Wayne and Darky now working together to actually, well, make their gains away from the rest of the pack. The top three now really on a stern right now. They know they have a vendetta against Pandadan. Pandadan is not making any ground in this opening stages of this race. We do have Old Maple Leaf in that duel right now. It is not doing well. I think he's got a problem there. Huge battle in the midfield. And I think there's something to watch. Von Haley really holding everyone up, and this is causing battles up and down the grid. Look at this battle here. Von Haley, 3.4 seconds behind his teammate already, but it's helping Ducky huge there. Look at Von Haley. He's defending well. Pandadan down the inside of Maple Leaf, and Maple Leaf defends for his might there, and Pandadan can't get past. Look at this, and down the inside goes Hedges, can't make past. Von Haley defending for his life. Wow, everything Fernando lost back in 2021 was humongous. Von Haley, oh, he just almost, there's only so much he can defend for, and hit, and no, he's still ahead. He's still ahead. Oh, he just got knocked. He got just for Hedges, but oh, he's battling that from, wow. Von Haley's really doing it, but Pandadan, oh, down the inside with that double overtake on Von Haley. Fantastic move, and not fantastic there by Skipper. Skipper's gone again. Another fun win gone for Skipper, and this time around a VSC being deployed, and
Yep, and as you can see, Skipper binning into the wall causes the safety car to come out again for the fourth time now. I think that's about the maximum limit that the safety car can come out, and as you can see, it stopped raining, and we're pretty sure by the time that the safety car does go back in, it's gonna be dry, so we decide to pit for mediums, which on the high side, maybe I should have gone for hard tires, but yeah, well, we chose to stick with the mediums, so at least we'll have to pace at the start to try and keep up with everyone else. And honestly, it's a little bit of a bad news for us because we've set our car to be quite good in the wets, but of course that means compromising myself from having pace in the dries, and you know, especially in a track where it's not my best. And as the safety car goes in by the end of lap 18, you know, come wait to get going already, as we get a mediocre an okay
Green flag.
restart
Gap to your teammate
into the
behind
race,
is 5.0 seconds.
as although Von Haley managed to defend everyone for so long, Pandaran did manage to make it through, and he actually goes onto the hard tires, which was probably the right choice because of the high tire wear in this track.
If you think you
And
can get past, make use
for
of the
quite a
overtake
while,
button and see what you can
actually,
do.
it's going to be just the four of us driving away from the whole pack, from the rest of the pack. So get a little snap of oversteer, because you know we've been driving so long in the wets, like my brain kind of, my muscle memory kind of went back to the wet driving. So
Let's
a
use
little bit
overtake
careful on the
and burn
throttle.
off some of this energy.
So try and test out the grip again, see how much I can push, while still trying to keep up to the rest. As I try to dive down the inside of Wayne, as he makes a little bit of a mistake, but that causes me to compromise my own line when Pandaran actually makes a really good overtake, as I have to leave him the space, unfortunately, but I didn't want to crush both of us out. So I knew that Pandaran is one of the fastest in this race for now, so I decided to try and just keep behind him, try and let him pull me along, especially because he's on the hards right now, so I have the tire advantage. So it's quite easy for me to try and stick behind him throughout. And at the end of lap 21, because of us just sticking behind and getting DRS, we managed to get the fastest lap of the race. And for now, it's just a battle to see who can keep up with each other, but obviously it seemed like I couldn't, and I should lose out the DRS by the end of lap 24, partially because the hards already in the course of about 6 laps were starting to be better than the medium tires. I think I was already about on 25% wear at this point. I think the hards probably about 13-14%, which obviously means he has more grip than I do. And in a track where traction is so important, having newer tires or tires with less wear is so important. I managed to get DRS because Panda actually makes an overtake on Tackle, and I think he makes quite a bit of a mistake there. So I'll try to use this opportunity to try and catch both of us, try and work together with him, catch back to the front two. Let's go down the first DRS straight, and he actually doesn't have DRS. And I dive down the inside, brake a little bit later, but I push him out, I slide a bit, rejoins to try and give him enough space as much as I can, and because of that I hit the walls ever so slightly, and I get a little bit of end plate front wing damage, which, yeah, not ideal, definitely. Although it wasn't like a huge damage, it's still quite important. And as you can see, by the end of lap 29, we actually lost our DRS. Although we haven't lost too much pace, still losing our DRS is still quite important, especially with a track with like 3 DRS zones. But as you can see, behind me in P5, Skipper has actually managed to catch up, albeit with a 6-second track limit penalty. His pace has been incredible this entire race. I mean, in general as well. But as you can see, I go wide around the Henderson Bridge hairpin, and I didn't get a really good exit. And Skipper manages to use the DRS to try and overtake me. And I didn't really try to fight it too much. Granted, he does have 6 seconds of penalty, which is near impossible to create that big of a gap in the course of 2 laps from now. But now the crucial thing is, I need to try and catch up to Tekro. The guy is still my rival. I still need to try and get more points. I think at this point he had more points than I did. So obviously, getting in front of him was the most crucial part. I try and use whatever little battery I have left to try and catch up and keep into the DRS of Skipper, but he was just, I don't know if he had newer tires than I did, but his pace was just blistering at the end of this race, which honestly unfortunate for him. He's crashed out so many times, and I feel like if he didn't crash, he probably would have won this race with a gap, you know. But right now, because of the DRS, we've managed to actually catch up to Tekro. Just now was 1.7, 1.8. Now we're down to 1.5. So you cross into the back straight. So we try and get the power down, get a decent exit, as Skipper actually manages to overtake Tekro here. But as you can see, Tekro got a 3-second time penalty because of that one corner. The right-hander is so deceiving, because it seems like you can take the whole track to get a good exit, but if you do take the whole track, you actually get a track limit penalty. So right now my main goal is to keep it clean, because right now I only have one penalty. I only have one warning, which means that as long as I don't get any more warnings, I'll be able to win. I'll be able to get the podium, because Skipper is definitely not going to make any more time against us, because he does have 6 seconds, and I'm pretty sure his tires by this point, because of pushing so much, is quite worn. So, and Tekro maybe has a little bit more pace in him, but you know, even with the slight wing damage that we have, you know, we try to keep up with them, try and maintain within their penalties. As you can see, we're on 40% tire wear here. So if that's anything to say, people in front are struggling as well. Probably a bit less than me, but still. As you can see, Tekro is pushing quite hard as well. Pretty sure quite a bit of battery stored left. And he pulled up to 2 seconds right now, and I use only have 7% battery left, 8%, 9% now, down into the last straight of the race. We use the remaining 5% that we have down into the last 2 corners. As Pandaran wins the Singapore Grand Prix, Tekro is up to 2.1, 2.2, and we just managed to keep within the 2 drivers within the penalties, and we managed to maintain P3 and get P3, a podium place, which honestly was greatly appreciated. It was a long race. This race was almost an hour long, I think, and it was super tiring. I think I was already quite tired throughout this race as well, before this race. So, you know, having a wet to intermediate to dry race, just obviously it wasn't the easiest race. And yeah, I was honestly just glad it was over, and as consolation, we managed to get P3. So yeah, quite happy about that. I think I managed to overtake him by about 2 points at this point. Overtake Tekro by 2 points in the championship, which, you know, I'm happy about. And yeah, I guess that's all it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.